Alright, NFL media, I got a bone to pick with you. NFL draft time always brings up stuff like this, and it's time to put this argument to rest. Stop saying the 49ers made a mistake by not drafting Aaron Rodgers. What up, sports fans? I'm Paulo Camacho, and you're watching the Macho Sports Report. The time between February and April is a prime time for the NFL offseason. Why? Well, the NFL draft conversations, of course. Between prospects, combines, workouts, and team news, the draft and their franchise-changing recruits provide a plethora of NFL news. Sometimes, though, the American football media, in their quest to keep NFL relevant in the 24-hour media cycle, will touch on stories like the draft's biggest busts, its most successful sleepers, and of course, the patented draft do-over. Which teams in past drafts would stand to make a different choice if given the chance? The San Francisco 49ers know this trend all too well over the past 15 years. After all, they are one of the poster boys in 2020 hindsight, at least in the eyes of the media. And their most infamous draft blunder came in 2005, when the 2-14 club had the first overall pick in the draft. Their final debate? Who to take as their franchise quarterback? Cal's Aaron Rodgers or Utah's Alex Smith? San Francisco ultimately went with the less cocky Smith, while Rodgers fell to Green Bay at 24. Smith was considered a bust until Jim Harbaugh came along and turned him into a serviceable starter 6 years after he was drafted. Meanwhile, Rodgers turned into a Super Bowl signal caller who has seen the Pro Bowl nearly every year since he started for Green Bay. So naturally, NFL pundits and 49ers fans alike have screamed to high heaven that the red and gold should have obviously went with the Chico native, as he would have led them to the promised land for his 6th time by now. Right? No! I've covered this topic ad nauseum for years, but it looks like it bears repeating. It's easy to examine the peak incarnations of Rodgers and Smith, and saying that Rodgers has far and away had the better career. I guess it's also easy to simply ignore the Pats and how they got there. Seriously, how is it that people conveniently forget the circumstances both QBs went through in their respective careers? Think about what Alex Smith had to deal with in his first 6 years as the 49ers starting QB. He came into a situation that was relatively barren of offensive talent, aside from fellow 2005 draftee Frank Gore, and an offensive line that couldn't pass protect if their lives depended on it. Not to mention that in his first 6 seasons, Smith had to learn different offensive schemes from 6 different offensive coordinators. Meanwhile, Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for 3 years, giving him time not only to mature as a starter in training, but to fix his throwing mechanics, which were too unorthodox to throw a consistent deep ball. He also had a pretty good team when he inherited the starting job in 2008. Granted, Rodgers' self-confidence, along with being a hometown kid, might have been assets for a struggling team like the 49ers, but it's extremely unlikely that he would have developed into the same Pro Bowl QB on such a dysfunctional squad like San Francisco. To let him start from the jump, give him a revolving door of OCs, and a bottom 10 offense for 6 years, all while trying to fix his throwing mechanics? Switch Alex Smith and Aaron Rodgers on that fateful day in 2005. And I argue that the variables that stunted Smith as a signal caller in San Francisco would have likely crushed the hometown kid into a career of obscurity. I know there are those out there who agree with me. I've seen it on comment sections all over the internet. But I want to hear from you. How do you think Aaron Rodgers would have fared with San Francisco as the #1 pick in 2005? Leave your responses in the comment section below. I'm Paulo Camacho, and you've been watching the Macho Sports Report. Peace out, sports fans!